Annabelle's midnight nursery whispers. The moon hung low in the pitch-black sky, casting eerie shadows upon the abandoned nursery. An air of unsettling stillness enveloped the place as we embark on the twisted tale of Annabelle's midnight nursery whispers. Our protagonist, driven by an insatiable curiosity, or perhaps a morbid fascination with the macabre, stood at the entrance of the forsaken nursery. The silence was oppressive, a prelude to the malevolent forces that lay dormant within. Moonlight filtered through shattered windows, revealing the outlines of toys that seemed frozen in time, patiently waiting. Midnight's veil descended upon the nursery, and the protagonist, guided by an insatiable curiosity, ventured deeper into the heart of the forbidden. The floor creaked beneath hesitant footsteps, each sound echoing like a lament from the forgotten past. Whispers, soft as the breath of ghosts, danced around, warning of the impending descent into darkness. The protagonist's flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows that seemed to writhe and recoil. It was as if the very walls harbored a collective memory, and the toys that adorned the shelves watched with an unsettling stillness. The air hummed with the energy of secrets yearning to be unraveled. A spectral symphony emerged from the dormant toys. The once innocent playthings took on a sinister life of their own, their distorted features contorting into grotesque expressions. The walls absorbed the echoes of ghostly babble, a chorus of haunting lullabies that echoed through the desolate space. The protagonist, now a mere intruder in a macabre orchestra, could feel the weight of unseen eyes upon them. Each glance seemed to pierce the veil between the living and the spectral. The nightmare had begun, and the distorted faces seemed to follow, their glassy eyes fixated on the intruder. A haunting melody lingered in the air, each note a spectral whisper that wrapped around the protagonist like unseen fingers. The source of the ominous lullabies remained elusive, creating a disconcerting aura of uncertainty. As the protagonist moved forward, the nursery's heart seemed to quicken, pumping fear through the veins of the forgotten toys. The air thickened with an intangible tension, and the shadows deepened, concealing secrets that begged to be unearthed. Each step forward painted a vivid picture of a world where the living and shadows converged, met with resistance as if an unseen hand sought to keep the intruder captive in the dance of shadows. The once innocent toys underwent a grotesque metamorphosis, their features contorting into malevolent grins. Unnerving laughter echoed, bouncing off the walls like a sinister resonance. The protagonist, surrounded by the distorted playthings, felt an unsettling presence, the kind that lurks in the shadows and feeds on the fear of the living. The nightmare deepened as the protagonist navigated through the distorted faces that seemed to watch their every move. Each step forward intensified the suffocating atmosphere, and the malevolent playthings hinted at a horror that transcended the boundaries of the inanimate. Shadows danced across the walls, moving with a life of their own. The darkness itself seemed to have a malevolent intent, reaching out to swallow everything in its path. Isolation became a tangible force, wrapping around the protagonist like a suffocating cloak. In this surreal world where the living and shadows converged, every movement forward felt like a struggle against an unseen malevolence. The air crackled with an unsettling energy, and the protagonist, now entrapped in the dance of shadows, could almost sense the unseen hand guiding their fate. A cursed cradle swayed gently in the chilling breeze that seeped through the cracks. The air crackled with an unsettling energy as the cradle rocked on its own accord, a harbinger of a presence that defied explanation. The protagonist, now ensnared in the web of the nursery's malevolence, felt a pull towards the cursed cradle, a pull that transcended the boundaries of reason. The very atmosphere whispered of a haunting secret, and the protagonist hesitated, torn between the allure of the cradle and the instinct to escape the impending doom. Unearthly footsteps echoed through the desolate nursery, growing louder with each passing moment. The protagonist, now gripped by a primal fear, strained to discern the origin of these phantom footsteps. The air vibrated with an otherworldly energy, and the darkness seemed to pulse in time with the footsteps. As the unseen entity drew near, the protagonist, feeling the weight of the unknown, hesitated. The footsteps, like a malevolent heartbeat, quickened the pace of the approaching terror. Every sound echoed with the anticipation of an encounter with the unknown. Whispers in the wind carried ominous messages, hints of a malevolent force that hungered for the living. The air itself seemed to conspire against the intruder, every breath laden with the secrets of the nursery. As the protagonist ventured deeper, The whispers intensified, weaving a tale of forgotten horrors and vengeful spirits. Each step forward painted a vivid picture of a world where the living and shadows converged, met with resistance as if an unseen force sought to keep the intruder captive in the dance of shadows. A mirror, tarnished and ancient, revealed distorted reflections that defied reality. The protagonist, now confronted with a warped version of themselves, felt the boundaries between the living and the spectral blur. The air thickened with the suffocating atmosphere of despair, as the narrator's voice whispered of a curse that transcended the boundaries of the inanimate. The reflection seemed to mock the protagonist, each movement mirrored with uncanny precision. The mirror's surface rippled with unseen forces, inviting the intruder to question the nature of the reflection. Was it a mere illusion, or a sinister manifestation of the nursery's darkest secrets? A dollhouse, seemingly innocent, harbored the darkest secrets within its miniature walls. The dolls, once mere playthings, now mimicked the movements of the living with uncanny precision. The air thickened with the suffocating atmosphere of despair as the dolls fixated their glassy eyes on the intruder. The protagonist, now ensnared in the puppetry of the malevolent dolls, felt the weight of their gaze. The nightmare deepened as the dolls seemed to whisper a history of forgotten horrors. Every step forward painted a vivid picture of a world where the living and shadows converged, met with resistance as if an unseen hand sought to keep the intruder captive in the dance of shadows. The wallpaper, adorned with innocent patterns, seemed to breathe with a life of its own. Faint whispers emanated from the floral designs, as if the very fabric of the nursery held secrets within its fibers. The protagonist, now surrounded by the pulse of enigmatic murmurs, couldn't escape the feeling that the walls themselves were privy to a sinister truth. As the protagonist pressed forward, the wallpaper seemed to ripple with unseen forces, heightening the sense that the very environment was alive with malevolent intent. Every step painted a vivid picture of a world where the living and shadows converged, met with resistance as if an unseen force sought to keep the intruder captive in the dance of shadows. A grandfather clock, its hands frozen in time, loomed ominously in a forgotten corner. The narrator's voice warned of the impending chime that would echo through the nursery like a death knell. With each tick and tock, the air grew denser, and the protagonist felt time itself warp and twist. The narrator's voice became a haunting countdown, heightening the sense of inevitability as the hands of the clock inched closer to a revelation that would shatter the fragile barrier between the living and the spectral. Every moment seemed to hang in suspense, as the nursery itself held its breath, waiting for the impending climax. A sudden gust extinguished the protagonist's flashlight, plunging them into a realm of total darkness. The air crackled with an unsettling energy as the shadows congealed into a tangible force. Every step forward intensified the suffocating atmosphere, and the malevolent shadows hinted at a horror that transcended mortal comprehension. In the darkness, the protagonist struggled against the encroaching malevolence, feeling the unseen forces guide their fate. The air itself seemed to recoil, as if the very fabric of reality was torn asunder. Every movement forward painted a vivid picture of a world where the living and shadows converged, met with resistance, as if an unseen force sought to keep the intruder captive in the dance of shadows. In the heart of the nursery, the protagonist stands at the threshold of an abyss that defies explanation. The air pulsates with a malevolent energy, and the protagonist, now on the precipice of revelation, hesitates before taking the final step. The very atmosphere whispers of a haunting secret. As the story concludes, your thoughts matter. Share your interpretations and opinions about the climax in the comment section below. What do you think awaits beyond the abyss? Your insights will add to the collective unraveling of the mysteries in Annabelle's Midnight Nursery Whispers. For more videos like these, please like, share, and subscribe. And please press the bell icon